Another great day, back and forth. The competition is what we want to see. We want to see the energy. It was a lively deal. We pushed it to the edge. Guys were getting really chippy, and we just kind of asked them, play at that edge. Let's not step over. Let's protect our team. Let's be great teammates first. And the guys handled it and responded well. And I think the coolest part was, as I think about the spring, and just where we started from a operational standpoint, spent time talking about that yesterday. For us to be able to get into a full speed 2-minute drill, we had an end of half, and then we had an end of game situation right there. Getting the calls in and out, playing within the time clock. Love to see the execution a little bit better. We had a couple of drops, but the ball moved. The defense had some great stops within those periods as well. But it was just good reps for Ajero and I just to use our timeouts, take a look at the situation, where we at on the field. But I think, I think really it's just celebrating the players and the way that they've locked in and focused this spring and have taken to the teaching, the principles of what we're looking for. Another thing I was really excited about this spring is the focus of the defense on attacking the football. That's been great. We talked about the turnover drills that our defense reps, and to see it come alive in the team settings where we can't tackle right now, but you see the mentality. You see guys getting ready to punch the ball. You see guys ripping at it when the running backs are coming through the line, and how that's trained our offense, because our running backs have had to wrap it up with two hands every run because the defense is striking at it. The receivers have had to transition quickly because of the same thing. And then, of course, just always harping on the quarterbacks. Play it like it's live, move, get the ball out of your hands, take off and run when you can, so you get that full game-like feel from these reps as much as we can right now. So the attention and focus on the football was fantastic. All of those things, all the things, capturing our effort, the standard of work. We talked about that just with some of the veteran players that we have. Guys that stand out, I'll just talk about Derek Brown on defense, coming to work every day, just killing it in the drills, getting after it, really pushing himself, especially when he's tired. Coach Wash doing an incredible job with the rush group and the different stunts and things they're working on. And then on offense, I can't talk about effort without talking about Chuba Hubbard and Tommy Tremble, two guys who really push each other to get their work in, to work on the small things, taking care of their bodies, the effort that we're looking for in practice. These guys are at the front of what we're talking about, trying to push the tempo, trying to make sure that the defense can feel the attacking style that we have. These are guys that have really stood out for me this spring as leaders in that regard. And so I feel great about it. As the whole group looks at that and sees these guys who are depending on working hard, it sends a message to the whole group. This is who we are. This is how we practice, and this is how we finish. So I'm really excited about where we're at today, knowing that we can come into training camp, and I know it'll take a day or two to kind of get the rhythm going, but to just get right back to that style, the pace of play, and the communication that we ended today with.
Dave, from a 30,000-foot view, you kind of walked in here in the spring meeting new people for the first time. Are there areas or things you've learned about this team in the last 3 months that may have exceeded the expectations you had walking in?
Yeah, I think, again, I come into it thinking, am I going to have to set the culture and the environment for every area of this? And I was ready to, and I was just watching and just trying to see where I can, inject energy or focus or work into these different areas. And what I came into was a group that already knows how to work, a group that knows how to create a great locker room environment. You hear them, they're in there talking, the music's going, there's just a great energy in there. When they get into the weight room, how serious they take that, and the guys utilizing the athletic training room to their benefit. So a lot of these things that you want and expect from a pro team, these guys have that, and they have that standard already set. And I'm just like, great, let's keep doing this, and really pointing the newer guys that just showed up to us to look at what these other guys are doing. If you don't have a plan, guys, just copy one of theirs. They have a great idea about what they want to do. So that they really exceeded my expectations. I was open to see what it was, but it was fantastic for me to see that culture.
Dave, kind of building off of that, you've spent this offseason building the pieces together with the existing roster, the free agents, now the draft. What has it been like over the past 2 days to finally see it all come together on the field and in the building?
It's exciting. It's really exciting. Just to know, again, what's my expectation? That we can play good football. That's my expectation. without talking about anything else. We're not talking about wins and losses. Can we just play good football? Can we do right for 60 minutes or longer, whatever it takes? And can we execute? Can we execute the fundamental parts of our offense and our defense and special teams? That's my high hope, and what I see is a group that's trending towards that to put good football out there. Were we perfect today? Absolutely not. There's still some things. There's little tweaks. We got to learn each other. Chemistry with the quarterback and the receivers, tight ends, running backs. The communication with the offensive line, defensively, of course, just all the communication that happens with the shifts and motions that we try to throw at them and challenge them with. So, are we perfect? No, but I see us trending towards a team that's going to be able to play good football, and that's all I can hope for. And I'm proud. I'll be proud of that part. So hopefully we can, keep building on that in training camp.
Dave, you talked about wanting competition at every position.
Yeah.
Understanding that, but are there a couple positions in mind that you're really kind of looking forward to tracking at camp?
Shoot, I can't speak about one position without speaking about all of them, Joe. Honestly, I think what I love is start with the offense. I love the versatility and the players that we have in the tight end room. I think that we have a really strong group there, and so I see a group that they're all going to be pushing to see who those guys are. This thing is, and Ian had a fantastic spring. Jatavian showed that he can play football while he's still learning stuff about our offense. He wants to know. He's focused and locked in. Stephon Sullivan is just the talent that he brings, how he can stretch the field, the length that he plays with, and even a guy like Jordan Matthews who understands how critical special teams is, for him to show that he can be a reliable player there, and then to do some things on offense too that we like. So it's a really strong group. Talk about the running back room. There's a lot of really good players in that group, and so being able to come into camp and knowing that we're going to run the ball a lot, especially in camp as we start to learn who we are in our system, to see that competition play itself out, is exciting, and then I think, at the receiver position, we have a bunch of guys that have been here for a while that are so hungry. You talk about, of course, Thielen was here, but then Terrace Marshall, who's had a fantastic last couple of weeks. Michael Strawn got back out there, and he's big and fast, just showing what he can do there. Amir Smith-Marset makes a great play every day. Of course, having Deontay out there, he brings another element. He's special. He knows how to play the game. He's fast. He gets it. He's a change of pace. And a little bit different than the guys that we have, and so, I mentioned Thielen already. Who did I miss? Xavier, we got to get him back out there so we can, work him through that. But another good, solid group of guys, that are executing what we want them to. So I'm excited about the competition in that room as well. And on the defensive side, we brought in so many guys that have familiarity with this system. And so that's been really great to just see, guys like Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott, Josie Jewell, who come in with that experience. Ashawn Robinson's been in the system, so those guys just really adding a strength in terms of experience and understanding of what we're doing to the group. So hopefully that answers that, and I can talk about the whole team. But
Dave, with the quarterback position, especially during these kind of early days of formulating a system, where do you fall in line with balancing improvisation with, obviously planned play calls for the quarterback position?
Yeah, my encouragement for them is to just play it like a game. So what happens in the game, sometimes the guard gets beat and you got to play ball. Sometimes the pressure is a little bit loose and you got to move. And so I'm always asking them not to expect that you're going to have this perfect pocket. We need to play on time and fast. And if you throw it to the first guy that's open, go to the second guy, and after that, you better be moving at some point, because at that point, you can only ask the O-line to block for so long, So I really just ask them to play it live, and if it gets you flushed, take off and run. And Bryce, each week, got better and better at playing that game. There's a time to throw it away, right? But there's also a time to extend the play, because those end up being explosive plays. And for sure in the red zone, those plays extend, and that's where 70% of your touchdown passes in the red zone happen on scramble. That's league-wide. That's not just specific to our system or anything. So just wanting them, because what ends up doing, it trains two things. It trains the skill players to keep playing. You ran your first route, here goes the second route. It requires effort and conditioning. It also requires of the secondary to plaster. We talk about plaster. That means match the guy in your area and stick to him and follow that guy to the end of the play. So it trains everybody when we extend the play. So I like when it happens. I like it more when the ball comes out on time and we have great protection for sure, but we got to practice for the game.
Have you guys started timing ball release in this phase, or is it something that you guys are going to focus more on in training camp?
We have been, and we will continue to ramp up the urgency on that timing. I think right now, we've given a little bit of margin for let's learn what these words mean. Let's learn what this formation looks like and where to line up. And that's the focus that I really wanted to come out of the spring with. And as we get back into camp, yes, and we'll put it up on the video screen so they can see it for practice. The defense will know it too, and they'll be yelling out sack, if it goes too long, a little bit beyond the play. But yeah, that's something that will definitely be really critical on.
Following up on the turnovers, the problems they had creating turnovers last year.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the drills that you've been putting out? Are you going to continue that emphasis during training camp?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And during the season, we'll dedicate a whole day to it, and we'll teach great examples in team settings. We'll continue to drill those things so that it's in their mind and they have the muscle memory to arrive at the ball with the mentality to take it away. And then, of course, just for the defensive guys especially, just getting those reps. But if you watch our defensive individual, they start off their drills, and every time they finish a drill, they're catching a ball. So the emphasis is taking advantage of the opportunities to intercept the ball when it comes to you, but then also creating those fumbles and those turnovers. When we do our pass rush drills, they finish on a bag that simulates a quarterback's arm to get the ball out every time. So just continue to heighten their awareness for the ball.
What is your expectation of players during this break between end of minicamp and start of training camp?
Yeah, my expectation is for them to take a little bit of time off. They've earned that. They've worked really hard. It's been a long time now that they've been here working and training in the weight room and on the field. And so I think it's really important that they do take that time earlier in the summer to be able to relax, to be able to let their body recover. There's a mileage component to this whole thing, and so I expect that, and then I expect them to take advantage of these weeks to really get the sprint work that they need in for the expectations. We'll have a great presentation for them about just suggestions for how to structure, because they're on their own. So they're going to go to their trainers, they're going to go to the places they feel comfortable, but just giving them some suggestions on the flow of how to take care of your body so that there's a climb to training camp, but there's a measure of there is overwork as well, right? There's underworking for the camp, and then there's also a measure of that. So just encouraging them to make sure that they are responsible with that time.
Did you get an update on DJ Johnson, and then are there any guys that won't be available at the start?
I didn't get the specific report on DJ, so I'd have to get back to you all on that. But I did know it was good. It was not anything that was really serious. So it was just something that moved weird, and I think he's had a little bit of issues in his past. So I think it was just kind of a measure of, he felt something. Let's just make sure. Let's be cautious about it. So.
To follow up on any guys you pretty sure won't be available right at the beginning of camp.
I think DJ Wanham's got a ways to go to just continue to progress, and Jonathan Brooks has a little bit of ways to go, so we'll kind of progress them into camp. Eku Leota, again, we expect him to be ready for camp, but again, guys that are coming in with soft tissue things, we just have to be smart about ramping them up as we go.
We got to
We'll do
see
a couple more.
We've gotten to see the chemistry between Deontay and Bryce the last couple of days. What have you noticed, given your background in quarterbacks and wide receivers, that they've done to kind of enhance that kind of bond, I guess, on the field?
Yeah, just looking for the opportunities that come to you so that we're making sure we're not forcing the ball in any situation, but when the opportunities come, Bryce definitely wants to take advantage of those to throw it to Deontay. What I've seen is Bryce is learning, even just in a short time, that Deontay's going to make the right football decision on these plays. And he's a guy that just finds open space. And again, one-on-one, he's got some really good stuff at the line on releases and separating at the top of his route. So just learning that he's a special mover. You know, he controls his body in such a great way, how quickly he comes off the line, how he bursts into routes, and how he separates. He does cover a lot of ground. He's got a lot of power in his hips. So Bryce was able to kind of see that and start to factor in where he throws the ball to Deontay. But it was really good to see them, you know, kind of working on that.
Coach, in these last few weeks, has there been a player that you've noticed that has been the first to be out on the field, or on the flip side?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Has there been a player that's been the last to be out on the field at the end of practice?
There's a couple of guys. You know, I think, you know, guys like that I always see out there. I talked about Chuba and Tommy. You know, they're always out there working. Jordan Matthews is always out there working. DiCaprio Boodle, he's out there catching balls. He knows he's going to get opportunities, you know, for interceptions. JC will be out there catching off of jugs. Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott. I can't think of everybody, but there's a good group of guys that kind of just, you know, finish up with, you know, whether it's jugs work, whether it's footwork things, or different things like that, you know. So it's a good group of workers.
Dave, the changes to the interior of the offensive line, is that something you're able to see now, or is that more of a training, it's going to kind of come to light?
Oh, no, you can see it now. Yeah, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, you know, Corbett in the middle right there. It's a very stout group inside, really guard to guard right there. And so I can feel just the momentum that happens in the run game. I can feel that when they sit and anchor in their pass pros, there's great space in that interior of their pocket. So those are the things we were hoping for with bringing them in, and it showed up, you know, throughout the spring, even in the setting that we're playing in now.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you.